Hello, and welcome to the Q3 2016 installment of the TAP Quarterly Webinar Series. For partners who may be unaware, the TAP Quarterly Webinar Series is designed to provide TAP partners with more insight into their TAP program opportunities and benefits. This previously recorded webinar features Brian Rice, Senior Alliance Manager for the Embedded OEM team. For more information about previous and upcoming webinars, visit the TAP Events and Training page in Partner Central. Now, we will turn the time over to Brian.
Embedded OEM is a route to market that enables our partners to build pre-installed turnkey solutions and redistribute and support those solutions as part of a dedicated purpose offering to their customers. And to take a step back, where we sit within VMware as part of the overall Alliances and Channels organization. This is a team of folks, an organization that supports all of the various different strategic technology partnership routes and programs, but we are very much focused and specifically chartered to drive the embedded OEM route to market. So to talk for a minute about just more broadly the partner community with VMware and where embedded OEM slots in, VMware clearly has a very large community of partners, of TAP partners who offer a broad range of solutions and partners that take their solutions to market in numerous different ways. Our partners also integrate with VMware technologies and partner with us in different ways as well. So, for example, many of our partners do through their TAP engagements, they do integration. You do integrations and certifications with VMware, and then as two companies, we meet in the channel or we meet at the customer for the actual sale, the deployment, and support of our respective products. For example, with our ISV community of partners. Many of our ISVs, through TAP, certify their solutions as VMware ready, sell and deploy their software to end customers who either already have existing supported VMware infrastructure, or maybe those end customers are procuring VMware infrastructure through the reseller community, through an enterprise-wide license, etc. That is a very large sort of piece of how VMware goes to market with our partners. Where embedded OEM comes into play is for our partners who are truly looking to integrate and include VMware products as part of the turnkey solutions that they deliver to their customers, that you deliver to your customers. With this embedded route, it allows our partners to differentiate and drive innovation into their solutions by leveraging VMware as a core component of their product. Furthermore, this route evolves the way our partners engage with end customers to sell, deploy, manage, and support their solution truly as a one throat to choke to the end customer. And kind of going back to the same example as I used with ISVs, right? For ISVs, there may be a subset of the market where end customers are looking for truly a turnkey offering that simply works out of the box, comes pre-licensed, and has single vendor streamlined support. And that's where we come in from an embedded OEM perspective. So TAP is absolutely our foundational partner program, and we see partners who leverage multiple different partnership routes with VMware. And today, I'm just going to focus on the embedded OEM route specifically and hopefully look at how this model can potentially bring significant value to your business. Next slide, Ben. So just to talk for a minute about the kind of the moving parts of the embedded OEM model. So again, as I mentioned, this is a licensing structure and a route to market that allows you to deploy and distribute VMware products as part of an OEM solution. So an OEM, a combined solution that we see typically includes hardware, pre-installed VMware, and our OEM's IP deployed and managed as a combined offering to the end customer. Oops. This is a sub-license model, which is what makes it unique. Sub-license model makes it unique in terms of allowing the licensing component to be built into the OEM's bill of material, typically with larger margins than reseller. But more than that, it really provides the flexibility for the VMware component not only to be included as part of the functional component of the product, but allows the OEM to really, build that into the COGS model, the bill of materials, and any manner they choose to whether to monetize it from a license perspective, support, et cetera. It provides ultimate flexibility from a business model standpoint since it is not a reseller route. And it uniquely, more than any other partner program or route with VMware, allows you to go to market with a single motion to sell, deliver, and support a solution, including everything from the hardware to your software to the VMware or other third-party components in the product. From an account control, so in terms of how I mentioned how you evolve, how you engage with your end customers, because it's a sub-license model, we, VMware, do not have a relationship from a licensing perspective or a support perspective with your end customer. We are providing the VMware technology and licensing and arming you to build that into your solution, and also arming you with the ability to do level 1, level 2 support and manage updates, upgrades, et cetera, so that you own the full account control all the way from the sale to support, soup to nuts, for the entire solution. And then lastly, another component that we find is extremely important to most of our partners is that embedded OEM provides global license and distribution rights. Unlike other purchasing routes with VMware, where licenses need to be purchased and deployed within the geo that they are used in, with embedded, this is a single direct agreement with VMware, and it provides one price list, one agreement, one negotiated business, commercial terms structure, and the ability to then distribute those products on a worldwide basis. So this really caters to our partners who are driving, the sale of their solutions on a worldwide basis. And then lastly, our partners span across just about every vertical market. We have over 100 partners on a worldwide basis, and we have solutions spanning from unified communications, telco, manufacturing, security, gaming, IoT, et cetera. So it really is a model that can be leveraged horizontally across any vertical market where you are looking to take your solution and deploy that as a turnkey solution on x86 hardware in the model I just described. So let's talk a minute about why are VMware partners virtualizing their solutions with VMware through the embedded model. And really, at the basic level, it starts with the benefits of hardware-software abstraction, the ability to leverage virtual hardware to extend your application's lifecycle through decoupling the application and operating systems from the underlying hardware. Right, this significantly reduces the complexity, by getting to a common platform all the way from development to test to production. And it also removes roadmap dependencies related to physical hardware, specific drivers, dependencies on operating system releases, et cetera. And then lastly, hardware leveraging the core benefits of products like vSphere and compute virtualization allows our partners to capture the advantages of partitioning, encapsulation and isolation of applications. For example, you may have your own applications to deploy as part of a solution and or third-party applications, and it may be important to securely isolate those apps from each other, running in virtual machines independent from the hardware. Server consolidation, another big driver for many of our partners, allows you to reduce the number of physical servers shipped with a solution to the end customer through virtualizing the applications, as opposed to being dependent upon running those applications natively on the hardware. And this significantly drives down the complexity of the solution for the end customer, and clearly the overall hardware cost associated with the product. And that leads to a much more compelling, story around increasing the ROI of the product. In addition to driving hardware costs out of the solution, delivering a virtualized product allows our partners to focus squarely on their core competency, which is developing and selling their IP. And this virtualized model allows you, and our partners, to more easily deploy new solutions without also having to deploy new hardware. So from an ROI perspective, it allows you to innovate on what's important in terms of your IP, our partner's IP, and monetize that, whether it's on new hardware or existing hardware that may already be deployed. Business continuity is critical, and we're seeing that on an increasing basis. And by building in advanced VMware features, things like high availability, disaster recovery, looking at technologies like vSAN for storage replication, it really provides the ability to protect your applications with solutions that increase availability, improve reliability, eliminate data loss, and deliver more reliable and rapid disaster recovery. And these and other value-added features allow embedded OEM partners not only to evolve how they deploy and support their solutions to the customer, but also to bring innovation from the VMware offerings directly into these products as a value add to the end customer. And lastly, I mentioned this a minute ago about improved lifecycle management. I talked about better enabling the sale of new IP, new applications, new solutions, independent from hardware and to hardware that may already be deployed. Through virtualization, our partners can both extend the lifecycle of the hardware-software solutions and also take advantage of an easier mechanism to manage ongoing updates, upgrades, and overall maintenance of the solution as well. And it allows you to really drive the roadmap of the product at a cadence that's no longer dependent upon the underlying platform components like the OS, drivers, et cetera, like I mentioned before. So again, lots of use cases, lots of drivers. That's really just sort of, 5 of the key benefits, key value drivers that we're seeing across our partner base. So I wanted to highlight sort of the 3 most common go-to-market models that we see our partners employing with their embedded solutions. The first and most prominent that we see across the business is on-premise distribution. And again, this is the model that I talked about previously, which is where our OEM is including bundling and embedding VMware as part of a solution and selling that as a turnkey or combined solution with their IP to the end customer and supporting that as a one throat to choke engagement. And that solution is again going on premise and is sold really as a CapEx engagement to the end customer. On the other side of the spectrum, there's obviously many partners across the globe from an overall VMware perspective doing hosted services, software as a service, where the OEM is hosting the solution and the VMware infrastructure as part of their environment, their data center, and providing the end customer with remote access to the overall functionality of the solution. And the important thing to highlight on the second model, the SaaS model, is that that's the unique area where there's actually a choice of which license model to leverage. From an on-premise perspective, anytime our partners are actually distributing a combined solution with VMware pre-installed, pre-configured, that's where that model requires embedded OEM just to enable the right IP licensing terms for that distribution of the combined solution. With hosted, we have a mechanism built into our agreements that allows our customers to choose. They can leverage embedded licensing since it is a customer-facing environment, or you can leverage traditional VMware licenses since it does reside in your own data center. What we often see is that for our customers who have a hybrid model, who deploy on-prem solution augmented by software as a service or vice versa, it often makes sense to have a single global agreement and mechanism to purchase and deploy those licenses, and that can be achieved through an embedded relationship with VMware. Now, the third, the middle use case here is managed service, and this is something we're definitely seeing on an increased basis where, I'll just use an example of, a security appliance, a security vendor who maybe have a primary business model of hosted or software as a service, but for specific market segments, whatever the solution is, maybe there's specific market segments where the OEM's end customers are driving them to have the solution deployed behind their firewall. Maybe it's financial institutions, maybe it's government sector, but they can't have their data leave their premises. And so similar to the on-premise model, numerous of our partners are building turnkey solutions on hardware with VMware pre-configured and their software, distributing it on-premise to the customer as a combined solution, but then selling and managing that as a service or as a subscription, really more of an OpEx model to the end customer. But similar to the on-premise model, because of there is a distribution of the VMware IP, it's a combined solution. It does slot into the embedded OEM licensing route in terms of enablement for that go-to-market model. So, just to summarize, embedded can be applied to any of these three mechanisms. You have choice for going to market with software as a service, but embedded really does provide that one single licensing route that can apply to all three of these go-to-market models, which is unique to any other model or licensing route with VMware. So I've talked a lot about the embedded model, and I just wanted to do a quick comparison just to make clear and differentiate how embedded fits alongside other licensing routes to market with VMware. So you may be familiar with what VMware calls our server OEM business, which is where we are working with the major server vendors from around the world, Cisco, Dell, HP, Supermicro, et cetera, who are then reselling VMware products as part of or along with their servers, right? And these VMware products and licenses are essentially, they go through distribution, they're activated, installed directly by end customers. This is really intended to enable server vendors to resell and provide VMware licensing to end customers who are purchasing server hardware and VMware for running workloads within their IT infrastructure. What makes server OEM and OEM different is that server OEM does not those licenses cannot be repurposed by an OEM, by a solution provider taking licenses on a Dell server or an HP server, repurposed into a solution, whether it be a medical appliance, security appliance, the different verticals we talked about, and then resold as a combined solution to the end customer. That latter route to market is where embedded OEM comes into play. And then lastly is reseller, right? VMware has a huge community of resellers who both resell VMware licenses on a standalone basis and or in conjunction with a partner reselling in conjunction or along with their solution. But again, in a traditional reseller, this is a resell of a VMware SKU separate from the solution, license going through distribution and owned and managed and supported directly with VMware as part of their infrastructure. And so where that does make sense for a lot of partners as the server OEM, embedded OEM remains unique for customers and partners who again are really looking to combine to go to market and go to their customers with solutions that are pre-configured, pre-licensed, and run and can be supported out of the box. So, we have many customer success stories and use cases. I wanted to take, with the limited time, the opportunity to talk about a couple. One of my largest customers who provide they're a large unified communication collaboration provider, and they provide what they call a collaboration in a box offering. And this is an example where the embedded model has driven extreme benefit, both from a cost savings perspective and in terms of how this partner is looking to manage their engagement and in relationships with their end customers. So prior to working with VMware, or prior to establishing an embedded relationship, this partner has a suite of 7 or more unified communication and collaboration applications. And prior to the embedded model being in place, if I was an end customer and I required 5 of these applications, of this suite of applications, I would have been delivered by the vendor a pallet with 5 pieces of iron, each running one of these applications on bare metal Linux. Now, fast forward 4 or 5 years later, with the embedded engagement in place, they are able to now sell a single virtualized appliance with it can be anywhere from 1 to multiple, up to 5 applications co-resident on a single server, virtualized on vSphere, which drives a huge amount of hardware costs and complexity out of the mix for their customers. In fact, in meeting with this partner, they told me about a year ago that over the first several years of the engagement with VMware, we were talking about a hardware cost savings in the 8-digit figure to their business, which obviously has a huge impact and has allowed them to focus on the innovation of the unified communication collaboration applications and focusing on licensing those on a metric that makes sense to their customers and not a metric that's tied to the hardware it's deployed on. So at the end of the day, this gives them solutions that are easy for their customers to procure from a single SKU standpoint with that, with a turnkey solution with application code residency. These solutions are extremely easy to deploy, given that they have pre-installed VMware and pre-configured UC applications. And they're also very easy to manage and have supported over time. It can be managed with existing vCenter management capability at the end customer, and furthermore, they can sign a single support contract with the OEM provider to have a single phone call for support for the box, the IP, and applications from the vendor, VMware, everything included. So it drives simple, affordable, turnkey solutions primarily for mid-sized companies. And I'll just touch on this one very quickly. I want to have a couple of minutes for Q&A. This is a large telco customer, partner of ours, Fortune 500 company. They sell telecommunications solutions catering to both consumer and business markets. The situation is that they sell a bundled hardware-software solution to both local and state government agencies. And that solution is used and deployed their customers have the need to respond to extremely time-sensitive situations. And so the OEM customer really needed the solution to be extremely reliable and easy to maintain and upgrade, and also cost-effective. So the solution that we built, under the framework of the Embedded OEM partnership was for them to leverage vSphere as an embedded component, virtualize the hardware-software bundle out of the factory to end customers, ready to run out of the box. Furthermore, they're leveraging some of the advanced features from vSphere around HA and vMotion and others to drive ease of maintenance and to simplify the life cycle for their end customers. And lastly, they're also leveraging the OEM model in the fact that the solution is virtualized with vSphere to more easily upsell other solutions, other applications to existing customers and existing deployments without disruption to the deployed systems. That wraps the presentation. I would very much, in the time we have left, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer those on the phone, or Ben, if any have come across on the WebEx. I do see a question from Justin Lindsay on the WebEx here. Is Embedded OEM offered for all VMware products? For example, Horizon? Yes, the answer is yes. I think I focused the examples on vSphere and mentioned vSAN, but we absolutely work with partners across the VMware stack, everything ranging from compute virtualization, storage virtualization with vSAN, network virtualization with NSX, management and automation through the vRealize suite, et cetera. So depending on the use case and the solution and the functionality required, this model can absolutely be leveraged for a broad VMware solution stack. Well, if there are no further questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. I've included the alias here on the slide, eoem@vmware.com, or you can reach out to your TAP representative. But if you do reach out to the eOEM alias, myself or my counterparts here in the U.S. or in EMEA or APJ, we'll absolutely pick up that question and follow up with you very quickly. Thank you, everybody.